Yo, what's up? This is Mike, and I'm V, and this is the Mike and V Bodybuilding Show on location at the Mecca Metroflex. Dude, we had a hell of an event today, didn't we?
We did, dude, and I don't even know if we can use on location anymore. This is our place, man. And if you ain't coming down here and you're involved in this sport, you're missing out, guys. You missed out on a hell of an event today. We appreciate all you guys coming out and supporting us today, and we especially want to take a second to thank the people that make this happen. Number one, Josh Barnett and Metroflex Gym. Also, our new sponsors, Pro Sub, 6-pack bags.
Peoria 4, Big AZ Promotions, Iron Affinity, and the Mike and V Bodybuilding Show.
My oatmeal.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my oatmeal.
You almost forgot.
But yeah, our show is brought to you by Pro Sub. I always want to mention that.
Absolutely.
We gave away 6-pack bags. We gave away Pro Sub swag. We gave away Pro Sub samples. Dude, check out social media. We're blowing it up. We call it hashtag PS Takeover. And we have a special guest, but then again,
they're all special.
They're all special. We have IFBB Pro with one of the best names in bodybuilding, Vincent Comerford, in the house.
Vince is from here, living in Phoenix, training out of Metroflex Gym now. The man has a hell of a story, so we want to bring him on. So with no further ado,
in the sport. Vince Comerford,
Vince, take him on in,
the house.
man.
Thanks for
This
coming
guy's
in,
like
man.
a living legend, man.
You know what they call you? You know, when I looked you up a little bit, you're lead priest before there was any lead priest.
Yeah, I was his mentor.
Oh, you're his mentor?
Yeah.
Well, just before we dive into Vince, talk about being a lead priest mentor.
No, it was after I was with the, I got my pro card in 1987 and 24th, the middleweight national, Sean Ray and I tied. They gave me my pro card and then became an
So you beat Sean Ray for your pro card?
No,
Hey, Vince, I'm going to slide you this way. So you were competing against Sean Ray.
Yeah, and Phil Hill
And then, so wait, take me back to that. You guys tied
at the Nationals.
at Nationals, and so they awarded you guys both your
Pro
card.
cards.
Oh, both? Wow.
Yeah, that's when I got my
How
card.
often is that?
Well, and also I had really good success as a pro bodybuilder, being shorter in stature because of Sean Ray and his stature, always bringing me in. So I mean, I was real fortunate and blessed. I was with the IFBB only for a couple of years and did, exceptional. I was very, very blessed. And I went to the World Bodybuilding Federation, Vincent Man.
Right.
And then he folded, and I was all upset because I was so young. I still wanted to compete. I went down to Australia because I did some of my best stuff there. Stayed with Lead Priest, lived with Lead Priest. We trained together. He came up to America, got his pro card. I stayed down there and went on to Berlin to get a Pro Universe. Now Pro Universe title, which later I had to abandon to get back to the IFBB.
Now talk about that, because did you end up paying like 25 grand to get back to the IFBB?
25 grand. We all had paid. The guys in WBF went. See, I wanted to still compete. They sort of just
So wait, when the WBF, if you guys don't know about when Vince McMahon took over, I know this story, you obviously know this story, but it was kind of a twist on bodybuilding. He tried to like spice it up a little bit with that WWF spin-off, and it did a couple shows, and it didn't exactly work work for him, did it?
I was under the impression it was going to be competition, and I was paid well. I mean, I made 125 grand both years at 27 years of age out of bodybuilding, and I thought it was going to be competitive, and it wasn't. He made it like a circus,
right?
And it broke my heart, and so I sort of even retreated before it even closed, and I just went down to Australia, abandoned everything, and just trained for the Pro Universe in Napa, and then I was able to win that. I was training with Lead Priest at the time, extremely impressive, and he came to America, got his IFBB Pro card. And at the time, I was called the Blonde Myth from Lonnie Teeper, and then he became the Blonde Myth, and so I'm the original Blonde Myth.
You know what's interesting about that is you're his mentor, and it looked like he kind of followed the same footsteps from He followed your footsteps from becoming an IFBB pro, going over to a different federation, and then having trouble, getting back into the IFBB.
Well,
I don't know. Do you regret doing that at any point?
I did, and that's what I'm going to ask too.
regret.
I think that's a good point.
Yes.
Is if you could do it over, would you? Because I mean,
I would have done it over.
Right? You wouldn't do it?
I wouldn't do it.
Absolutely not.
No, I was still young and very competitive, and some things happened politically in 1990. And I was world ranked in the top 3 going into Olympia at 27, and some things happened. I failed a drug test. Walking on stage, they pulled me off stage, and 7 guys already went to Europe, and I went down under the contract, came back, and they judged me, which broke my heart.
Is that when they did? Is that?
There's only going.
Is that when they did the diuretic test or something?
There's 1 year, and then many years later, they failed Jay Color and came back.
Right.
But then my year, 1990, they just dismissed it. And so I was really, living out, basically tuna fish water. There's free tuna fish, egg weights on sale. After being at the highest level, and then Vincent McMahon offered me that contract, so I took it. but I was under the impression it was going to be competition.
Sure, going to be a little. I think a lot of the bodybuilders were. What's his name? That was a big draw for them too.
Paul Gillette?
Yeah, Gary Stridham.
Oh, Gary Stridham.
Yeah, well, I thought it was going to be competition.
Talk about a party animal.
He was incredible. The guys I was with were like groundbreaking, but I mean, in my heart, I thought it was going to be competition, and I was so young, I didn't get it out there.
Right.
I didn't care to get it out there. And I'm not a politician, I'm not a businessman, I was just a bodybuilder.
Where did it all begin for you as far as bodybuilding growing up? For me, it was watching Arnold Schwarzenegger and Rocky.
I watched Pumping Iron, and then also I was 125 pounds at 17, turning 18. Read Franklin Columbo's book, and I went I have scholarships all over for architecture and for wrestling, and then I just tried, I don't know, I went my first show, Mr. Buffalo, and I came out here to go to Arizona State in scholarship, and then went and trained for 1 year and won in Mr. USA, then won my class Mr. America, then won again, and then won into the Nationals. Wow. And I kept winning.
That's a great resume. Yeah. Now tell us about, out of all those winning moments, what's your favorite winning moment?
On the Nationals.
That was
when you got your card?
Yeah, do you want to show the picture? Should we show them? Yeah, Josh, come on out. Guys, this is Josh. Besides being a great gym owner, a good friend of mine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's when I won the Nationals.
Oh, nice, man, yeah.
This is it right here.
Yeah.
Vince Comerford, right here.
Real deal, man. Look at that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's going to go up on the wall here.
And that does look like the Blonde Myth right here, buddy.
Yeah. Lonnie Teeper.
That's awesome, man.
Thank you. I mean, just the honor, and what bodybuilding gave me is to be so respected and honored among everybody. Again, I didn't get the world, but I love the opportunity which bodybuilding did. And bodybuilding to me was, you have to be black, white, yellow, red, man, woman, invalid, it doesn't matter. Bodybuilding is for everyone.
Right.
And it made you, it made me become whole. It gave me substance.
I want to talk about that because Mike and I, we obviously we go way back. I know it's like my brother, and I know bodybuilding saved his life. And, bodybuilding and something else saved your life too. So
yes.
let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about, because I mean, beyond bodybuilding, you've dealt with some adversities, right? And things coming at you.
Right.
So yeah, let's
bodybuilding is so successful thanks to be to Christ. And what happened is after 93, after I won the Pro University, abandoned that title. Charles Paramount took it, and I had to come back to America. I binged on cocaine, OD'd, and went into rehab for 15 months. Christ came in my life and just abandoned, and also helped heal me from a lot of things, from cancer, from heart failure, from a lot of things. So my relationship in Christ was His promise for eternal life, and also life eternal. I said, I'll take it. It's the best insurance program this man is going to get.
That's awesome, man.
And so I'm not a preacher or teacher. I'm just a man whose Christ is reality.
Well, it sounds to me, and Vince, we haven't sat down and talked really in depth, but just hearing your story, you went from being a 27-year-old young man influenced by money to where are you now in your early 50s, and now look at your perspective now. It's just a whole night and day difference. And that's a testament of growth, and that's awesome.
I think the quality of character Christ is building in me was I always walked out in appreciation, but humbleness, and really understanding what it is to become a fine human being and a man that I can look at and say that I respect. And I never been married because I wouldn't want to marry me. And also for your kids, the kids would still be 25 and still all behave at 15.
But for the record now, you're ready to settle down. You actually could be a good husband now.
I would love to be, yes.
Any of you ladies love a buff man in Phoenix here, come on, get a hold of the Mike and B Bodybuilding Show, and we'll set you up on a date with Big Vince.
No, but being with you guys is like, it's really, it's exceptional, and the regard I have that's given to me throughout the world is really, really deep.
I got a question for you, Vince. You're fairly new to coming into Metroflex, correct?
Yes, yes.
There's a lot of stereotypical things that we hear about the gym. Yeah. We're meatheads, it's this, it's that. Coming from an outside, what's your opinion of the gym?
I'm coming from a man that you wouldn't even know the weights. And coming in, no more than this, Josh was super respectful. I'm allowed to sign up here with the other pros, which is an honor. But also,
well, you deserve
it. Talk about what the atmosphere is great. Everyone feeds off each other. You can tell a great gym by the legs of the bodybuilders, and they're all going for the pro cards. That comes from the mountaintop on down. That's Josh. Man. And then here, it's supportive. There's no attitude. There's a lot of intensity. There's no bullshit. But there's a lot of, everyone helps each other out. But it's not pancake either. You know why you're here. You feel it. And if you got a personality problem, get your ass out of here.
That's right, man.
Come back in here. But these are guys going for the pro card today. And to be part of it, I mean, I can say right now, I told her, just share this with Josh, there's no way in the world I'd ever want to do it and compete with these guys and what they have to go through and the competition is now.
Yeah,
but in here,
I want to ask about that.
Yeah, but everyone is it's a high level, but humble, competitive, but supportive.
Yeah, and that's what I say. Come on down and check it out, guys, because everyone's going to take you through. You're going to be guided in a family knit, and everyone helps out everybody. And guess what? When we get on stage, we want to beat each other. That's the name of the game. But when we walk off stage, we can put our arms around each other and say, "Man, that was a freaking great show."
That was a fight. If you are looking for a guy to get ready for a show, looking for a trainer that's everything from your contest prep, your food, your meal planning, your posing. The training, obviously. Vince Comerford, what's your phone number so everybody can get hold of you?
602-435-3035, or just get through.
Or right on Facebook too, right?
Facebook, Vince Comerford, or also here with Josh,
Just get a hold of Metroflex too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really, and I just love, I never like hanging out in the gym. I never like saying that, but I'll come down and just hang out. Because I have nothing else to do, because it just feels,
it's a good environment.
It's a very good environment.
Really good environment. That's
right, baby.
But it's true. I don't have to say anything I don't want. These guys know my career. I've been suspended. And so I say what I feel and what I know. So I would definitely.
How much emphasis do you put on your nutrition plan versus the training? I always like to ask pros that.
Mine was more on training and mechanics of training and application, and kept my nutrition simplistic. And the more simplistic it was, the more I could adjust it, but still learning my body. But then when I was able to, I never got there really. But knowing that shows I won or lost in the kitchen. But bottom line is you have to prove yourself in the gym. And that means you can only be face to face with yourself. And then training allows you the freedom, sanctuary, to develop your dream.
That's correct.
And make it a reality. There's nothing more exceptional than that. There isn't. There is nothing more exceptional than that.
I love what you said.
If somebody comes from somewhere, and where you come from, you don't want to remember, but then when you know where you came from and say where you came to, bodybuilding is extraordinary, supernatural.
I know, couldn't have said it better. I want to hear from you, legendary bodybuilder, been in the mix for a long time. Let's talk about bodybuilding past, present, future.
Okay.
Which era do you think is the best? Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite bodybuilder? Who's the bodybuilder that you wanted to be like? Who got that you aspired to be? Talk about that for a little bit.
When I first came in, it was Franklin Colombo. Then entering into Arnold, but he was just beyond my grasp. And then once I was inside of it, Tom Platz influenced me. Then after getting my pro card, I spent time with him, and he taught me that it was beyond nutrition, beyond manufacturing supplements, even beyond training. It's a matter of the heart and your emotion, and placing all that in one moment at one time on that muscle belly, and not letting go until the sun comes up, goes down, until it's over, and then it's never over.
And that's what, we say that too, like everybody trains super, super hard, and the one belief that I have, for myself at least, and I tell myself this every day, I'm going to outwill you.
Yeah,
I'm going to impose my will, and I think that's what it has to do. You have to will your way to the top.
I think you won't get it. That's what Michelangelo said. He became great because all the other artists and sculptors who commissioned with a lot of money messed up marble. And when he came, he said, "Are you going to pay me more because it's a mess what they did?" And he goes, "Everyone has, a hammer, and everyone has a nail, a spike, but I hit that spike different than somebody else."
That's right.
And that's what you do in bodybuilding.
Yep.
It's that. And then your body's reflection. But Da Vinci once said, there's no work left unfinished, just abandoned for a while. Well, I can't walk away from my body. It's the ultimate art form.
That's right.
And they have to deal with the world and everything else and still come in and accomplish these things in front of your eyes. That makes it the ultimate art form.
So who is it today that you like out there? Is it Flex Lewis? Someone you can relate to? Someone more, your height, or are you looking at Phil Heath? Or
well, number one is just overwhelming, amazing. I can't even make a super. I can't even draw that.
What do you think too about, obviously the size of guys has continued to get bigger and bigger and
massive.
bigger.
It's massive.
Even, let's face it, Flex Lewis is your height, and this guy's 250 in the off season. Right. He's coming in hard as nails at 215 or 212 pounds.
It's just massive. What happened is, when I was at the Olympia though, this year I went back, because I know Troy and supported with Troy. David Henry looked tremendous.
Right.
And then Flex Lewis' trainer was there. He said, Vince Comerford said, "Yeah." He goes, "Wait a minute." And he brought me back, and I met Flex Lewis. I said, "Man," he goes, "Hey, listen, when Lee Priest was up there and we trained
for 2 weeks.
Who's
his trainer? Is it Neil Gill?
I don't know who it is. He's just a really nice guy.
Yeah, no,
and he goes, all he talked about was Vince, this, and this. It was all about training, and he goes, and that helped influence me. That brought tears to my eyes. You know, I'm looking at Mr. Olympia who's beyond my imagination, saying, you helped me get here. I'm like, whoa, wow.
That's awesome.
It is.
So do you think there's a lot of big change, and I'm going to ask you, you're the IFBB pro, you've been around a hell of a lot longer than Mike and I. You know, the gear that was used then and the gear that's used now, do you think it's the same? You know,
no, it's different.
I mean, they weren't using insulin back then, they were using growth hormone.
It's become much more scientific. You still have to put the work in.
Right.
But also, I think it's harder in a way because you have to do it over and over and over and over again. For us, I mean, you could hit a title, and then you'd be like so exhausted or burned out, like I can't even move. But you have to do it now over and over and over again. It's much more advanced scientifically. Personal trainers, nutritionists, everyone else is involved even more. But the conditioning doesn't matter. I mean, it has evolved up to that level where it's not just, I mean, it's still bodybuilding. It's not body manufacturing. It's still bodybuilding. You know, and Bob Chicarello and I talked about that. I said, no. I go, but in my era, you know, I mean, I was fortunate. I was coming in right at that moment, and again, I couldn't deal with the hours outside of my immaturity. But I mean, the guys that came in with was Sean Ray, Phil Hill, Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levrone, Dorian Yates. I mean, those are incredible guys. You know, and also. So that, in your opinion, is the best era. Yeah,
most competitive. I agree.
But then Ronnie Coleman.
Can't.
That's just something.
That's just
That's it. I can't even put that in a book. My mind can't.
Ronnie's the best.
Yes.
Of all time.
Of all time.
I do too, hands down.
Of all time.
I mean, if you put him next to any of the former Olympias, there's just no comparison.
And of all time. But I think the best representative of bodybuilding, I mean, I gotta look at Lee Haney and everything else is Jake Cutler.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't know that for what 9 or 10 years the guy didn't place lower than second. So if you add up, you know, winning 5 titles and coming in runner-up
and then
for
being
9 or 10 years in a row.
And being gracious, but that's a gracious man.
Right.
A humble man, gracious man, and truly enjoyed it, not because he's putting a smile on, you're paying me, because when it comes down to a bodybuilder, you're not going to make it. Bodybuilder, you do it for the money. I mean, really? Go be in sanitation, go do something, because you'll make more money.
It's one thing that I've noticed about you the short time that I've known you, is you have a question for Vince, he'll take a time, he'll talk to you. Very well spoken, and a lot of respect for you, man. And your business is booming, man. I mean, I see you in here with a new client all the time.
Well, that's thanks to Josh.
And you're, you know, and it's not just.
But it's results oriented.
Yeah, but
these results have to happen.
And it's not just contest prep. It's actually anybody that wants to get.
That's what I like doing.
Okay.
I like people to get to understand their body, and it all comes down to bodybuilding, exercise, movement, nutrition, and understanding of the whole genre of it. And you know what? See it manifest in front of your eyes. That's not vanity. What it is, that's just pride and appreciation of something you're building, and you share with respect. And you don't demand it from somebody, then it becomes vanity. You'll know.
Well, obviously, Laura Price is your savior. You know,
yes.
Besides him, who is your biggest inspiration these days?
I studied peace studies at Arizona State. Actually, I went and got my degree and then also master's in religion, ethics, and philosophy. I studied peace studies, and I enjoyed just the peacemakers like Mandela, others that suffered for humanity and for others to lay down their life, as it says, no greater love to lay down your life for another's freedom.
Right.
And that's what it is. That's really truly what I believe in. And when you can do that, that means self-sacrifice, the ultimate in human beingness, compassion, selflessness, all the things that make up a great human being that we have an opportunity to do. And because when we can do that, society, I'm my brother's keeper. Well, I mean, we'd like to have a society say, yeah, I am.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
That's a good question. I like to see myself still be able to be part of, I mean, it's exciting. This is all exciting. I like to see, I've been accepted to Harvard for my thesis, and so I like to see myself at Harvard someday.
That's
for religion,
answer.
For religious. But what it is, it comes down to, I think
my body, people.
My body is the manifestation of just my heart.
Right.
It's always not a matter of your mind. Your mind can change with the wind.
But
it's a matter of your heart.
I can tell you, obviously, you've done a lot of reading and you're very well spoken and educated. One thing that really drives myself is the visualization process. And I really, truly feel that if you can visualize yourself looking a certain way, visualize yourself in that winning moment, it's really not going to
No, that's the only thing, I don't see a lot of people talk about that. And the vision alone, the envisionment, I mean, even civilization is died without such, but a human being, and also to know that and to grip it with a matter of your heart and your will and your desire, And not because, this is the way I feel today or whatever, but that vision of what you can look like. Yeah, I mean, literally, that's the great thing about bodybuilding, or anyone that wants to build, it's building their body, whether it's losing weight, whatever it is. It also has to do with the way to do it. I did a lot of things wrong in bodybuilding to get to achieve the look I wanted and paid the price physically, health-wise. Through Christ, my health has been restored, but everyone's doing it pretty much the right way now.
What's up? Go ahead.
Well, I like to ask too, obviously there's a great influence of people that get us to these points, and you've been around this game long enough that you know you can't do this alone.
No, you have to, number one is you have to be supported. You have to, your spouse.
Well, who is that who helps you? Who'd you like to take a second and thank where you're at now? Because I mean, things are working well for you now, you know?
Yeah, number one is, literally, it is Christ. And through prayer, what prayer means is that I hold on to Christ and His promises. And I don't let go, because otherwise He wouldn't be my God, but also in the evidence of such. And it's been supportive. Everyone has been supportive. But again, I'm still looking. I don't want to walk in this earth alone anymore. My mate.
Sure.
But I do think, like, you guys and everything else, and also, you know, the reception I get. If for no other reason, not because you're old or we owe you this, you don't owe me anything. You are just this way with me, and I appreciate it. So, but yeah, I mean, I have to say, I had, you know, a few people. I mean, I dismissed myself from our relationship because I was just going through too many changes, and she is too. And so, but it's you know, it's pretty amazing like that. So I think others, and also too, is it's not been vindictive. A lot of people have been so supportive. Is that it made my walk a lot easier this way. And also too, is I'm well aware of it, and when I'm well aware of my circumstances, I'm even much more appreciative. So,
Oh man, a true legend of the sport.
Thanks.
IFBB pro, Vince.
Great perspective too, Vince. I mean, you got a great perspective. Obviously, you're a deep thinker, and gaining that perspective and somebody sitting down, especially some younger guys sitting down and talking to you, I highly advise it. Come and talk to the man, because it's beyond just bodybuilding. Like you said,
yeah, it's a human.
When you look at the guy, you look at his tattoos, they're deeper than, you know, it looks like Guns N' Roses between the arm and then the rose, it's Guns N' Roses.
Right.
Talk about your artwork.
Well, the artwork is just no greater love than Christ says when it comes to love. And when a man, especially a man when he walks in love, a woman gets it quicker than men. So guys, pay attention. All right, listen up. But when you can walk in love, that means a power that covers the abyss of the human heart. When you lay down your life for someone else, and for their freedom, and for their privilege, and for their rights, that's the greatest of all.
So ladies, hit Vince up on Facebook again. Man's looking for a date.
And this is just God's armor of a man wearing God's armor, protecting Christ and His people.
So awesome.
But also, people, it doesn't mean is that without proclaiming with my mouth the evidence. I really don't care about someone's faith unless, you know, I want to see the evidence of their behavior before I hear what you have to say. That's all there's to it. So, try to live it.
Well, dude, we appreciate you coming on the show.
You guys are great.
I got one more thing. Well, it's kind of a tradition that if you're in shape, we want to see what
this
you
is
got.
a show.
And it is a show.
So we'd like you to run a show.
See a gun show, Vince. Before we get out of here, man.
There you go.
Bam!
51 years old, Vince? 51 years old, guys. Hard as nails, man.
My best IFBB pro, Vince Comerford.
Thanks,
Vincent VJ Hils on the Mike and V Bodybuilding Show, brought to you by Pro Subs. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks, guys. I love being here. Thank you.